rumors.
Hello, thank you for joining us on Panorama. I'm Ruth Aguilera. Training and documentation, the panacea for strengthening evidence base for traditional medicine in Nigeria. Nigeria joined other African countries to mark the 2025 African Traditional Medicine Day, which was on the 31st of August. Now, the advocacy continues even beyond the celebration, as traditional medicine, of course, you know, plays a significant role in healthcare service. Traditional medicine include the use of herbs and plant-based preparations known as herbal medicine, as well as practical procedures like traditional bone setting. In Africa, traditional healers and remedies made from indigenous plants play a very crucial role in health of millions, since findings show that as many as 85% of Africans routinely use these services for primary health care in sub-Saharan Africa. Now, this will be our conversation on Panorama, so please sit back, relax before we delve into it. Welcome. Vice President Kashim Shettima says the visit by his Colombian counterpart, Francia Marquez, to Nigeria and the bilateral engagement will serve as a gateway to a new chapter for both countries. He stated this during a gala dinner in honor of the Colombian Vice President visit. This was at the presidential villa in Abuja. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
Nigeria-Colombia Strategic Partnership for Inclusive Growth started with this gala dinner that witnessed display of Nigeria and Colombian cultural heritage by the National Agency for Arts and Culture. The visit is proof that Nigeria and Colombia are about to enter an era of a union that will create deeper political cooperation, bolder economic ventures, and richer people-to-people exchanges.
Nigeria and Colombia share a wealth of opportunities that, if mutually developed and harnessed, can deliver significant economic and human development benefits to both nations. And we must take maximum advantage of this historic visit to catalyze this cooperation for the benefit of our peoples.
Vice President Kashim Shettima conveyed the goodwill of President Bola Tinubu and Nigerians to the visitors, maintaining that what has brought both nations to bilateral engagements is a shared interest in the destiny of the two countries.
More than ever, Nigeria is to plant the seeds of trust, water them with dialogue, and nurture them into fruits of prosperity that our children and grandchildren shall one day harvest. We have watched each other across oceans. We have spoken through third countries. And yet our hearts have always known that the distance between us is only geography.
Tenemos desafíos que pasan por la diplomacia.
Roots that will help us build freedom, justice, dignity, and pursue trade ties for the promotion and defense of life, justice, and peace. I therefore would like to invite our Nigerian counterparts to come and visit Colombia, to invest in our beautiful country, and I hope that Nigerians will further open the doors of this country to business leaders of Colombia so that they may do the same here.
For 51 years, Nigeria and Colombia have journeyed side by side. The two leaders said the two nations are bound not only by the ties of diplomacy, but also the deeper cord of shared humanity. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
The 13th and first female Vice President of Colombia, Francia Marquez, has expressed admiration for Nigerian women's creative will, resilience and religious harmony, and talk about unity. She made the remarks during her visit here in Nigeria. She took a tour around critical places. Let's hear from Ngozi Technical.
The Colombian Vice President, Francia Marquez, who is in Nigeria for a 3-day visit, expressed delight at stepping onto the soil where her ancestors were taken in chains due to the slave trade and colonialism, now as a of black descent. Led by the Minister of Women Affairs, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, her first point of call was the National Mosque, where she was warmly received by key personalities. She then visited the nearby National Christian Center, symbolizing unity and religious harmony. The entourage proceeded to the Mariam Babangida National Center for Women Development, where they toured the Nigerian Women Hall of Fame. The Vice President unveiled a plaque inducting the Minister of Women Affairs into the Hall of Fame. This was followed by a visit to Nike Art Gallery, where art, craft, and culture showcased Nigerians' vibrant creative spirit. The Colombian Vice President, her husband, and the minister were honored and crowned with different traditional titles.
The Nigerian woman is not just phenomenal, but she's a dependable ally. Leveraging on this, tomorrow we're going to sit so that we can forge meaningful partnerships.
It takes up to 40 hours just to connect both our continents directly, which is indeed a barrier to our cooperation and closer trade ties. We therefore need to strengthen the airline connections between both our continents.
The visit continues tomorrow with engagements between members of the two countries. In Abuja, Ngozi Technical, NT News.
In other news, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says President Bola Tinubu's administration has been guided at all times by the principles of fairness, justice and equity in the distribution of federal government projects, appointments and opportunities across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. The minister in a statement said the current administration has demonstrated uncommon commitment to balanced development and inclusivity since assuming office, with distribution of capital projects under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu being equitable, and that no region is playing second fiddle or being ignored. In addition to projects by various ministries, departments and agencies, the statement adds that all 6 regions now have regional development commissions to kickstart development efforts. He equally highlighted the Coastal Highway as a legacy project in the south, the Badagry-Sokoto Highway in the north. Among major infrastructural interventions simultaneously ongoing across the Federation are highways and bridges, rails, and of course, power projects. All right, before we delve into our conversation on traditional medicine, we'll take a report. The Biomedical Science Research and Training Center at the Yobe State University, Damaturu, has collected 1,100 biopsy and blood samples for its ongoing dementia research project. The project is the first large-scale dementia cohort study of its kind. Let's hear from Adamu Yusuf Ali.
An estimated 2.13 million people are living with dementia in sub-Saharan Africa, with numbers projected to nearly double every 20 years, increasing to 3.48 million by 2030 and 7.62 million by 2050. Nigeria has a current dementia prevalence rate of 4.9% overall. Higher prevalence estimates of up to 20% have been reported in community-based studies in Nigeria, using different approaches and multiple rating scales for defining dementia. This is the more reason for the Biomedical Science Research and Training Center of Yobe State University, Damaturu, to commence treating neurological diseases using Africa's first stem biobank in Yobe State.
This is the first project of this nature ever conducted in Africa, where we are combining community work, policy, and scientific kind of understanding to address a major health issue like this. And from this blood that we have collected and the biopsies, we are going to establish an open access biobank.
In the course of the exercise, the center was able to take 1,045 samples in primary healthcare centers in the state, targeting people above 65 years.
Then we interact with the community. We also learned some problems. We even help the community.
Those at risk of contacting the disease are people who are above 65 years. In Damaturu, Adam Yusuf Ali, NTA News.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be back shortly. Don't go anywhere. Thank you for staying tuned. The Federal Polytechnic Ayade, Oyo State, has been commended for its ingenuity and dedication, demonstrated by a lecturer from the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, Oluwafemi Tijani, who fabricated a 3-dimensional machine through the Tertiary Education Trust Fund Project Fabrication Grant. Let's hear from Abiodun Babalola.
To council members led by the chairman, Yakubu Dati, the fabricator and lecturer, Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, Federal Polytechnic Ayede. Olufemi Tijani says the printing machine can produce various objects using less material than the conventional methods.
The essence is to have a proper additive manufacturing way of packaging many of our produce or our products on campus.
I was surprised that the rector looked beyond his vicinity to attract funding to bring this invention into fruition. And I believe that will also encourage both students and staff to come up with inventions that they are keeping inside of them.
We are in an age whereby the in thing is technical innovation, whereby the in thing is commercialization of our research products. And we believe that one can still.
Council members were later taken around the institution to assess some newly completed projects funded by TED Fund in the institution. Abiodun Babalola, NTA News.
Research on general wellness explores various natural remedies, lifestyle intervention, and holistic approaches to promote overall health and, of course, well-being. I'm talking about traditional medicine. We want to look at the challenges, the prospects, and all of that, because experts in the medical research observe that effectiveness, safety of natural therapies, as well as providing evidence-based recommendations for individuals seeking to enhance their wellness through natural means are some of the tools for result-oriented treatment regime. So let's have our guest join us now. He's joining us via Zoom from Lagos. Let's welcome the Director General and Chief Executive of Nigeria Natural Medicine Development Agency, Professor Martins Emeje. Thank you so much for joining us, Prof.
Thank you, NTA, for welcoming me.
All right, Prof. I'll start by asking, you to look at the significance of the theme for this year's Traditional Medicine Day. We're talking training and documentation, in adoption of the use as evidence-based, rather, for Nigeria. Where are we as a nation?
Okay, thank you very much again. And I thank Nigerians for giving us the opportunity to speak to them through NTA all of the time. Actually, the theme of this year's African Traditional Medicine Day, as released by the World Health Organization, is strengthening evidence-based for traditional medicine. Strengthening evidence-based for traditional medicine. Then in Nigeria, the Nigeria NNMDA, the Nigerian Natural Medicine Development Agency, we are the agency of government mandated in all areas of traditional medicine or natural medicine, all its ramifications, to deal with that. So the theme we are speaking on today is a modification of the WHO international team to speak to where we are in Nigeria. And that's why we say this year we are looking at documentation and training. We had a health walk, a 2-hour health walk around the Victoria Island in Lagos this morning, and our keynote speaker, who is a practicing integrative medicine doctor, Dr. John Ateve, will be speaking this afternoon on documentation and training. Where are we in Nigeria? We have gone a long way. We have come a long way, and we have done a lot. In the last 2 years, I mean, those who have been following us effectively will know, and I know NTA knows because you always give us the platform, that since 2023, we have always had our African Traditional Medicine Day, and we are vocal about it. We have also embarked on the first documentation, deliberate strategic documentation of traditional medicine in Nigeria. So from my office where I'm speaking to you this afternoon, on the touch of button, we can actually locate where some traditional medicine practitioners who are registered with us, where they are, what they do, the services they provided, the products they have, and we have that database, and so we can tell you how safe, how effective, and the quality of the products and the services that they provide. Then in training, as an agency, we have now been accredited by the National Board for Technical Education. So we run a 2-year diploma program, Innovative Enterprise in natural medicine. So there's formal training in that area going. Then within these 24 months also, we have become the awarding body for the National Skills Acquisition Program. If you remember, the Minister of Education launched the National Skills Acquisition Program a few weeks ago, and we are responsible for training of traditional medicine in this area.
Okay, Prof, well
said.
Yes, well said, Prof. But I'd like to know what the agency is doing. There's a projection, a global trade volume of biodiversity-related products that could reach $5 trillion. That will be by 2050, if I'm correct. Yes, so how is the agency pushing this advocacy, for natural medicine so that Nigeria can tap into these?
Okay, so thank you. You see, we have gone beyond advocacy because we have been doing advocacy before I was born. In the university, in the pharmacy school, I was hearing of advocacy. At work, I've been hearing of advocacy. Now, what we have been doing these 2 years is to do. It's not about talking again, it's to do. That's why we invited the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Chipushe Naji, to come to Victoria Island here to launch products. He came here and launched the first 4 oral solid dosage formulations for 4 disease areas in this country. That have been done. We also moved from there, because we collaborate effectively with the National Agency for Food, Drugs Administration and Control, and we have submitted to NAFDAC, as I speak to you, at least 23 different products developed from our own indigenous raw materials towards making Nigeria a destination point, not just for making these natural products available for our people, but that we will also become net exporter for forex. That's the way we have to contribute to getting what the world is talking about. You see, when we talk about $5 trillion, you are not going to get anything from talking. It is what you present to the market that you'll be able to get anything from it. So we are making effort to ensure that now that there's ACTA, where boundaries are being melted off and the African market is going to be the same. If you don't bring up something to the market, then you are not going to benefit anything. So from our plants, from our animals, from our marine life, we have products that are going to be available for not just for local use, but for export.
Okay, Prof, very briefly now, before I let you go, standardization and regulation has been part of the outcry. What will be done going forward so it can be embraced in the healthcare services without any misconception? You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, okay, so you see, the misconception, let me quickly say this. When you talk about misconception, it is the vocal minority, the educated minority who were trained using the foreign curriculum. They are the people talking about misconception and all of that lack of standardization. What is standardization? Key to standardization is documentation, and training. And that is what we are doing effectively now. We have gone beyond, there's no dosage for all. There are doses, there's standards, and quality is being ensured. Look, let's be realistic here. Over 100 million people, this is what they have access to. This is what they use, and they live longer than many people who are consuming the chemical drugs that we are consuming. So what are we talking about? That's why we are using innovation, science, and technology to ensure that what our people are using, the form which they are using today, we can make them into appropriate dosage form, that it will still be efficacious, it will be safe, and it will be of quality, not just for use here, but for export. That is what we are talking about, and that is what we are doing and geared to do.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Martins Emeje. I share in your passion. I could see that the agency, of course, based on reports, is pushing and talking about preserving our natural heritage. We can't run away from African medicine, right?
Yes, we can't run away from it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, NTA.
All right, Prof. Thank you. Okay, so let's flip to other issues. The Office of the National Security Advisor has reacted to a false report alleging that the office coordinated a policy of payments and offered incentives to bandits. A statement from the office by Zakari Mijanyawa described the report as baseless, stressing that at no time has the Office of the National Security Advisor or any arm of government under his administration engaged in ransom payments or inducement to criminals. On the contrary, the office has consistently warned Nigerians against paying ransom, noting that from inception, the federal government adopted a dual strategy involving decisive kinetic operations alongside community engagements aimed at addressing local grievances. So next will be sports update.
Action continued in match day 2 of the Nigerian Professional Football League with exciting results across the country. The City were held to a goalless draw by El Kanemi Warriors, while Warri Wolves claimed a comfortable 2-0 victory over Rangers United. Bayelsa United also impressed, securing a 2-0 win against Barrow FC. In Abane, the Tornadoes stormed Eimba with a narrow 1-0 away win. Kano Pillars and Wiki Tories played a 1-1 draw, while Plateau United fell 2-1 to Katsina United. Elsewhere, Katsina United edged Kwara United 1-0 and Nasarawa United sealed a 1-0 victory against Abia Warriors. In another development, Rwanda's Amavubi will arrive in Lagos on Tuesday ahead of their 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier against Nigeria on Saturday at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium. Rwanda are second in the group with 8 points, level with Benin Republic, while Nigeria sit fourth with 7 points. Lesotho have 6 points and Zimbabwe are bottom with 4. The standing could change if FIFA penalized South Africa for an infraction. The match comes 5 months after Nigeria beat Rwanda 2-0 in Kigali and 9 months after Rwanda stunned Nigeria 2-1 in Oyo during AFCON qualifiers. After this clash, Rwanda will face Zimbabwe, while Nigeria traveled to South Africa. Meanwhile, Super Eagles goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali returned to action for Chippa United against Orlando Pirates after an injury scare that cast doubt on his availability for Nigeria's 2026 World Cup qualifiers against Rwanda and South Africa. The 29-year-old, who was off in a recent game against Richard Bay, saved a penalty in Sunday's league match. He has been named in Nigeria's final 23-man squad and will join the team in Oyo after his club duties. Elsewhere, Nigeria will file 15 athletes at the World Athletic Champions in Tokyo, September 13 to 21. The squad, comprising 7 women and 8 men, will compete in sprints, hurdles, jumps, throws, and relays. Key athletes include Toby Amusan, World 100-meter hurdles record holder, Ese Burume, Olympic bronze medalist in long jump, Nathaniel Ezekiel, 400-meter hurdles champion, and Chukwuebuka Enekwechi, shot put. AFN President Okowa said the selection was based on merit and expressed confidence the team will make Nigeria proud, while also highlighting ongoing developmental plans for athletics. For Sport Update, Amazongo, NTA News.
And that concludes Panorama. Thank you for being part of it. Do have a beautiful day ahead. I'm Ruth Aguele.